Subscribe to see what's next. It's Clip City Connect.
YouTube, what is the deal? It's your guy TJ Anderson, and I'm coming to you live once again to bring you another video. I know you guys missed me a lot, even though you just seen me. Look, check it out. On this episode, I have a very special guest. And you guys know how I do it already, right? It's nothing new if you've been watching Clutch City Connect, right? I'm going to let my main man have the floor.
Yeah, what's up, man? It's good to be here. So my name is Colsten Thompson. I'm a assistant coach, recruiting coordinator at Indiana, the Indiana Hoosiers. This is going on year 2 for me, but at Indiana. But before here, I was at the University of Alabama for 3 years, and then before that was at Lipscomb University for a year, and then before that was Louisiana Tech as a graduate assistant for the Lady Texters. So, man, I'm just excited to be here, talk about the past, talk about the future, the present, and everything along those lines. Whatever you need, I'm excited to be here, though.
Hey, man, and at Clutch City Connect, we are welcome to have you. It is a blessing that you decide to come on the podcast. So, with all that out of the way, you ready to get started?
Let's go.
Let's do it. So, we're going to break this into segments, my man. So, the first segment I have for you is the background and the journey, right? Because it's always important. It's always good to talk about the background and the journey, right? So, my first question for you is, how did you get started in coaching, and what drew you to the women's game?
Yeah, so, of course, I played like most people that coach. But I played in high school, played college, played 1 year in the semi-professional league here in the country. But it just wasn't really going the way I wanted it to go. Wasn't making a lot of money after college playing in the league, and I was in that league I was in, and I was just like, man, I gotta do something else, but I want to stay in this, somehow. And I was still going to school, taking like classes to be an engineer, a civil engineer. That's just where I saw the money was going to be at. And at the time I had no idea what I was going to do. So I just picked something that paid well. So I was doing that, but I decided to start up a training business, skills development. And so I got my own LLC. I did all the things, started my business up. I had a lot of people that I knew just from playing, whether it was college players, high school, even young kids. And so I was just like, let me get this thing going, while I go to school and make some side money. So I had a lot of players. I did a couple camps, worked some camps with Anthony Davis. That got me a lot of clientele. In Birmingham, I worked with a whole bunch of players that ended up being really good. Some of them's in the NBA right now. One's in the W. And then a lot of them still are just now committing to high school. That was how young they were. They were in 4th, 3rd grade whenever I was training. So it was just a lot of that. But I had one player that took off for me, and it just so happened to be a girl. At the time, she was in 9th grade. She was getting recruited by SEC schools, Big Ten, all of them, all the Power 4. At the time, it was Power 5. So 5 conferences. And so I just started connecting with coaches, recruiters, and they were telling me what they wanted me to work with the girl on the floor, and doing different things with her, what they wanted to see, how she was going, translate to them and all that. And so I connected. I was connecting. It wasn't even to try to go and get a college job. But out of nowhere, Louisiana Tech flew in one day. I did a workout in front of them for the head coach, and we connected, and about 3 or 4 months later, she called me and offered me a job. And so I was like, I don't really know, if this is and to say all this, I was a student assistant at the Division II school that I was doing my classes at. So I was in it, but I wasn't like trying to coach. But she offered me that job, and it came with like a full master's program paid for. So again, in my mind, I'm like, well, all right, you tell me I can go work out the whole team. I can be on a college program and get my master's. So I was like, let's do it. And so I moved down there, and within a year, I knew what I wanted to do, but within a year I got a job to be a full-time assistant coach at Lipscomb. And so that was 2020. So in the COVID year was when I left to go to Louisiana Tech, which was really hard time, but it was like very eye-opening. And obviously during 2020, everyone had time to reflect and try to think about what they want to do. If there was one good thing COVID did for me, it was like give me like time to sit there and think what I want to do for my life. And so that's how that all happened. And then now I'm here today doing this for a living and loving it, and wouldn't change it for the world.
Awesome. That is a very awesome and phenomenal story, my man. I gotta say, we all gotta have our start somewhere, you know, when it comes down to it.
Right.
And for you to be able to have the opportunity to work out a player in front of a college basketball program, and then they offer you, man,
I did not think they were going to offer. They had already offered the kid. I didn't know another offer was coming. I was happy about it. I was like, let's do it.
man, it's a blessing, and,
Yeah.
and you could say in a way it was a calling. You know, it's a calling,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
And
100%.
sometimes, like I tell people all the time, sometimes it's not just on you, it's in you, and they see that, you know, they got the potential.
They see it before you see it a lot of times.
Yeah, man, because trust and believe me, you're like the third or fourth coach I've heard that say, man, I was not looking at getting into coaching.
No.
But like I say, sometimes destiny has a way of choosing you.
It does, man. I used to get pissed off at people that told me I'd be a good coach. I'm like, nah, I'm a player. I'm not a coach. I'm not going to be a coach. Like, that was me. But, you know, we all mature.
I think that's one thing that's kind of motivating me to get back into school and finish my degree, because, man, I hear it a lot all the time. From the people that I'm associated with within my AAU organization to people in general that know I know the game, you know, and I know how to break down skill set and whatnot. And I've been asked to coach many AAU programs, three SSB and the EYBL. I turn those opportunities down to coach locally where I'm at, because I want to help the players that I'm around.
Right.
On the girls and the boys side grow. So I think that's something that's exponentially solid, that you got to have that opportunity, my man.
Right.
So my next question for you, what was your playing career like, right? And how has it shaped the way you coach and recruit today?
Oh, man. So like my playing career, I'm blessed to have had what I went through, but like would I want to go through it again? No. I just, you know, in high school, I didn't really have, you know, all I had was my dad for real that had like any type of like experience with basketball. And it's because he taught himself all the stuff he knew because I liked it, you know? And so like he just grew his mind for the game to help me. And so I didn't have all these people got trainers these days. They got agents, they got AU teams. Like I had AU teams, but like they just had all this stuff we have today. I just didn't. Maybe we had it. I just didn't have access. I didn't know about it. I wasn't like knowledgeable enough to know. So I went through high school, one of the best, the highest classification in Alabama was where it was a high school I played at. So we played like some of the best players, like Dietrich Mostella. He ended up at Tennessee. Lamonte Turner was at Tennessee volunteer. You know, a lot of people from that area. Gary Reedus, who's from you know, he's a Rutgers head coach. He was at one of those schools, but he was graduated by then. But there was a lot of really good ones. Javen Johnson plays in the G League right now. Like we were playing against really good players. And just really good programs that had players like those that graduated from there. And so, you know, my head coach, he did not really, you know, he had his favorites, right? Like the ones that were just, it was politics. It was all the things people say about today, but it was just not a big support factor for me. Like he did not support me, what I was trying to do. You know, when I was out here chasing, trying to get, you know, college offers, college scholarships, just seeing, you know, whatever it was, posting on YouTube, my highlights. Like I was just doing everything. And I didn't have any guidance. Like nobody was telling me how to do it, what to do, which avenues to go, who to talk to. So I was just talking to everybody. I was like, what up? Hey, here's my highlights. What should I do? And, you know, my parents, they didn't really know about the recruiting. So I'd have people reach out to my high school coach and I wouldn't even know about it. He wouldn't even tell me. He was like keeping stuff in. And so, you know, so just not having someone that could help like filter calls and like like, hey, Colsten, you need to be looking at this. Like, this is the type of school you need to be looking at. Like, all those things, like, nobody gave me that guidance. I didn't know. My parents did everything they could. So just now that I'm coaching, it's like, and then college was kind of the same. I just jumped around, transferred 2 times, like, didn't even finish out my 4 years of play. And it was not a lot of structure to my path. And so, that's what I want to give as a coach now is structure and like communication and like helping these parents like do it. Cause like on my first calls, like I don't even want to talk to the kid. Like it don't matter if the kid's 11th grade, 12th, 7th. Like I don't even want to talk to them. Like I do, but I mean that in a good way. I don't want to. There's no reason for us to talk right now because like your like growth and your the everything that you're gonna learn and how you should move about your process is probably gonna have your parents involved, and they're probably gonna be involved heavily. So like it's best for me to open up that line of communication to them, so that way they know what we're about, they know what I'm about as a recruiter, and they just understand the process, And I want to be that like person for them, like, hey, like even if it ain't about Indiana, like you have my number now. You call me, ask me, I can help you, lean on me as a resource because I ain't have that, And so, that's me. Like that's how my playing career helped, like pave my way and how I do things as a recruiter. Just being that resource for the kids, but especially the parents.
That's awesome. And I have to say, one thing that I want to do is I'm from the Galveston County area of Texas, which is about 45 minutes south of Houston. And we might not have a large amount of basketball players that are D1, but we do have some. And they fall by the wayside every single year, every year. And I think with me, especially with the podcast, that I'm wanting to kind of change that narrative and get some eyes down here because we do have talent. It's not just
Texas is filled, man. I agree.
Yeah, it's not just Houston. We got talented kids in Galveston, Lamar, Texas City, all the little areas that make up the Galveston County area. I mean, snap. We got one kid at Friendswood High School. I just had him on the podcast about a month ago. Chase Richardson. He's committed to Texas A&M to go to that school next year. So it's awesome to see that, but it's not happening as frequent as it should be.
Right.
And I want to change the narrative on that, especially on the girls' side. Right. So my next question for you. So we can honestly kind of say that you've had a pretty quick rise in the coaching ranks, right?
Yeah.
So what's been the biggest lesson so far in your journey?
I would say the biggest lesson is like, do not compare. Like, do not compare your journey. My journey coming up was not the same as everyone's. And that's what makes me unique. That's what makes me different. That's what got me the job here because I was different. Like if you like everybody else and you're a clone, it's just like, why would you be given the job? Especially me. I don't have 20 years of experience on my resume. I'm 31 years old. I got into coaching at like 24. You know what I mean? So it's like, I got married at 26. I had my first daughter at 29. You know what I mean? Like my journey is not like a lot of people. So don't compare. Like that's my biggest lesson is don't compare. I want something to happen so quickly because I got some friends. Most of my friends have been in it a lot longer than me. And I look at when I was like, even at Alabama, I was looking at them. I'm like, I want to get there. I want to get there. I should be there. I know I can do what they're doing. But it's like that time is not yours yet, And so just like be respectful of your time of like, this ain't your frame yet. You're going to get there, but you just got to keep doing what you're doing every day. And it's like the days that you don't think that you're making progress, you're one day closer to getting to what you want, and I didn't even like Indiana wasn't even like part of my mindset. Like I was just like, I want to be a recruiting coordinator, and so I was so open to like, of course I want to stay on this level because I know this is a level I can do it at a high level on, but it was like whoever's willing to give me that shot, and Terry Morgan gave it to me. And she was the one that came out and like like really believed I could like see that and hear that belief in her. Like you got this. I'm gonna give you this. I'm gonna give you this. You got all you need to be successful. All you gotta do is show up and be at work and stay at work during the day and put in the hours. She's like, the rest of it, you know what I'm saying? Like, we got you. And so like that was like just hearing that belief. And I just said it in high school, I didn't have that. Like just hearing that from a boss is like, you know, that made me want to like, I'm coming in right off the bat. I'm ready to work, you know. And so that's the biggest lesson is the comparison is a sin, man. Don't do it.
Man, it's interesting that you said that as far as like getting into being a recruiting coordinator, right? Like I think that's something that I've been kind of looking at. Like I've taken on, you know, a scouting position
Yeah.
this time. So we got something to talk about, man, and
Yeah,
I would
for
definitely
sure.
like to learn from you, especially being 1 year your senior. So I would definitely like to pick your brain
Yeah,
on a lot of things, man.
for sure.
So let's go into our next segment, right? Well, I want to talk about your role at Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
So what does your day-to-day look like as an assistant coach and recruiting coordinator at Indiana under Coach Terry Moore?
Yeah, so like, you know, being a recruiting coordinator, like an assistant coach, you would think it's like 50-50. But honestly, it's like whatever the day needs, right? Like if it's a day of like, man, I got a position group here, I got a lot, like just a lot of my time needs to be spent on the kids that are already here. Like invest on what you got. But it's because of my role being recruiting coordinator, I'm building for the future as well. So it becomes a balance, but it's like, all right, today's Monday. You know what? Like I already had 2 texts from 2 players wanting to work out tomorrow, and then we got practice, and then after that, um, maybe another player wants to get in. So I'm like, today is about to be a day where I'm like, I'm super invested. I'm always invested, but like today, I'm putting a lot of my energy and time, percentage of my day into these girls. Wednesday comes along, it's like, man, they tired. They ain't really trying to work out. 20-minute film session. Cool. Like I'm gonna do that, and so I got a lot more time now outside of practice and the film session to get on calls. So like knowing that, I'm like, Tuesday, I'm gonna set up all these calls that I need to do, whatever's priority for that day. I'm gonna do them like within I have 45 minutes, let me get 2 calls done. Practice, film, boom. Now I got a 3-hour gap. I'm about to go 5 calls, try to get 5 in. And I already have like planned out who I'm going to hit. And then through the day, every single day, I'm texting the ones that are allowed, like we're allowed to text. Like they are always here. Like I'm just like invested in our kids, but at the same time, like the ones I'm recruiting, we don't recruit a lot of players. We don't. And so like it's very easy for me to like, let me just pick up my phone and text my however many kids I need to text. You know what I mean? Like because we don't do it, we don't recruit a lot of players. So that makes my life easy. So but in the very beginning of the day, I'm getting in here probably about 6:30 and I'm getting my lift in every day. Every day, man. So I make sure to make that time for me. 2 days will be on the court, me just going through making sure I'm still looking a little athletic. I can still do the things that I'm telling the players to do. And then the other days, like it's in the weight room. So that's kind of how my day goes. I'm here till about 5:30 every day. So it's a long day, but it's like it goes by just like that because you're so like, one, you love what you do, but two, you are very organized. You got a calendar full of things for the day. But three, man, a lot of the job is just like player walks in your room, you in here for 30 minutes just chatting with them, and like you might have missed your call segment, but it's like, man, this player literally just walked in my office. I'm about to spend all my time and my every bit of focus is on you right now. Especially like, I had a play in like the recruiting process with you. It's like I told you this is how it's gonna be. I'm not just gonna act like it's not anymore because you're here. Like we continuously recruit the players we got, especially now with a portal. You want to recruit them hard, and so we spending more time on our players recruiting them than we are anybody else. So
Nice.
yeah.
Sounds like a very busy day every day.
I gotta squeeze that. I got a couple calls in with the wife through the day, random
Yeah,
FaceTimes with my daughter,
you
just
better.
random.
You better.
I know. So like that's a call that's always on the list every day.
I love it, man. I love
Yeah.
it. I love it. I love it. So, my next question for you, right? We're gonna we're gonna stay on this, right?
Mhm.
So, how are you helping build the culture and identity for the Hoosiers program?
Yeah, like recruiting is a forefront of every program. It's one of the most important things. Not because like those kids are more important than the ones you got, but it's because you're bringing in kids that have like some type of they already got some type of structure, environment. Like they've been like already like ingrained, like something's ingrained in them already. So it's like, do those things and those values that have been ingrained in them before they get here, do they line up with what we do? You know, because if they don't, they're gonna come here, they're either gonna be not happy and they're gonna leave, or they're gonna like start something up and like make a couple kids want to leave. You know, and it's like we don't. So that's why it's important for me, like as a recruiting coordinator, I want to make sure like that first call with them parents, I'm feeling it. I'm like, yeah, coach gonna like you. Coach gonna like you, mom. Coach gonna like you, dad. You know, maybe not both of y'all, but hey, she gonna like you, mom. But dad, you, mom gonna keep you straight. It's cool. So,
Right.
but if you don't like both of y'all, then we gotta, we gotta move on. Don't matter how talented your kid is. And then that first call with that kid is always like, I won't ever talk about Indiana. I'm like, let me like talk to me about you. You know, I love FaceTiming. I want to see the kid. Like, is she like really paying attention? Is she like, where's she at? What's she doing? Like, I just want to see it. You know, do you look a mess? Is your room like insanely dirty? Like, you know, it's like a lot of things I see. I'm like, ugh. So you get a lot out of FaceTimes. And again, I like to connect. And I think face to face is the most, it's also an icebreaker. So like the kid ain't gonna open up to you for real because she ain't met you yet. Like even though she's talking to you, but you get on FaceTime, then it's like now you know who I am. You feel comfortable with me. We can talk. You know, you can really talk to me. I'm recruiting you, and you're listening. So that means you're kind of interested. And that means that there's a possibility you could be here for 5 years. So you need to be able to walk in and have a conversation with me. If you don't want to do it with coach, like you got to at least do it with me. Because if you don't tell us what you need, we can't help you, and then you're going to end up unhappy, and then you're going to leave and probably go to a worse situation. So it's like the best thing that me and you can do is be on the same page and you feel like you can talk to me. So that's what I try to create, so that way I know when they get here things are going to be good. You know, they might be bad, but when they are bad, you know how to manage it. You know how to manage the kid. They know how to manage you, and the recruiting process did all that for you.
Nice. So for the viewer and myself, we really didn't, especially me. I didn't know that all that went to being a recruiting coordinator and
Yeah.
also an assistant coach for a high major D1 program. That's insane when you think about it, because I mean, essentially, especially as a recruiting coordinator, you're building a relationship with these kids before they get into the program to see if it's even a match in
Yeah.
the first place between the college and the player. So you're like the third party man. You're well, not third
Yeah.
party, but you're like
Yeah.
the middleman.
The middleman.
So
Right.
that's very interesting, man. I
That's a
appreciate
good
you for
way to
giving
put
the
it.
insight.
Mm-hmm.
So my next question for you, what should Indiana fans be excited about for the upcoming season?
Well, so we got the number, I think it was number 6. It might have been moved to like number 8 now. Anyways, top 10 recruiting class in the country coming in. Um One of them's a McDonald's All-American. One of them is a Ball is Life All-American. She was Ball is Life MVP. She was Chipotle Nationals MVP, which is, you know, the biggest high school tournament in girls basketball, and I think obviously the boys too. But so she was MVP of that, led her team to that championship, so won the whole thing. And then Ashlyn James is a regional kid who's a top CC kid in the country, but like really, really good. Like such a good kid too. You know, so out of those three, that makes up a top 10 recruiting class in the country, which is the highest that Indiana has ever had. Um, and then we have our returners, which are the better of all the kids that did return that piece from last year. They're all coming back. It's 4 of them, 5 of them, something like that. But 3 of them played. and were very important to what we did and what we're trying to build. And then the portal class, we went and got 4 kids that all have 1 year left. So they've all, 2 of them played in the Big Ten for 4 or 3 years. So they have experience in the conference. And then the other 2 were from the same team, Iowa State. So they've been teammates before. And then now they're here. And Iowa State was a top 10 team at the time that we played them last year. Nebraska, has been a tournament team literally for the past however 5 years at least. And then USC is USC,
Right.
and so we got their point guard from there. So it's like the blend that we have is like something Indiana's never had. How Indiana has used the portal this year, but also how Indiana has like recruited a very high level recruiting class. So the blend is going to be something that no one's really seen for real. And that's what's exciting, is because like our fans are very, very, very engaging, very understandable of the game. Like they understand it at a high level. So whenever they get here and they see how much, not just youth that we have, but like experienced youth from high school, and then the experience that we have from older kids, man, it's going to be one of those types of teams that provide a lot of depth, a lot of energy. All those kids are on the floor diving for basketballs. They yelling at each other in a good way. They're very constructive, but like they get into each other, gritty. All the things that Indiana's made up of is in all of these kids, literally every single one of them. And that's something that, again, I've only been here for a year, but I don't know if that's been like the years that they went to the Elite Eight in 2023, they had this. And now we got it again. So it's like you did it before, went to Elite Eight in 2023. It's like we got that type of team, I feel like, that can do that and make that type of push. So that's what's exciting about what we got going this year.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love to hear it. Love it, love it, love it. Indiana fans, you got something to look forward to. Gritty and grind.
Yeah, right.
So I want to go into our next segment, right? I want to talk about recruitment or recruiting and player development, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of want to piggyback a little bit off of what you said about the player that you look at as far as like, morale and whatnot, right?
Yeah.
So especially when it comes to high school and AAU level, what do you look for when evaluating talent?
Yeah, we had a kid actually on campus this week. She's one of our highest priority kids in the 27 class, and I told her, yeah. So I literally told her, I was like, you're so good, you're versatile, all the things. I was like, what we love about you the most is how competitive and like how much passion you play with. Like, if I'm sitting in the gym for 12, 14, 15 hours during recruiting periods, and it's like at some point you get to looking like this. You know what I mean? Like you get to doing this sometimes. Like, but if you get me on the 13th hour to go from here to like, hey, let's go, like on the sideline as a college coach that's been chilling all day, eating like not the greatest food or not eating at all, drinking coffee, like then that's like different. You know what I mean? And so like that's the number one thing is passion. So you gotta have passion. You gotta love the game. We work out a lot here. Like every coach in the program on the floor working kids out. It's a literal like, and that's not normal. I promise, it's not normal. So if you don't love working out, you don't love the game, you don't have passion for it, you're not gonna thrive here. And like that's the thing coach always says is, like I love the kid, Colsten. She's ranked top whatever, but she ain't gonna thrive here. Move on. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I gotta make sure the kid loves the game. So that's number one. You gotta have a feel for the game. With all the development that you get here, we're gonna be able to teach you skills. We're gonna be able to teach you, all the things that you need to learn at your position. So if you got feel for it, that's gonna allow you to like learn quicker, more on the fly, and understand things more. Big Ten's a very smart conference. You're playing for a elite head coach who's coached Team USA, coached some of the best players in the country, coached multiple tournament teams, Elite Eight teams, multiple WNBA draft picks. Like she knows how to coach. So you gotta know the game. And then the last piece is your motor. If you don't have a motor, like 95% of the time, like that 5% I give, a little bit of like, if you're not just feeling it today, you're having an off day, but like, man, you gotta have an elite motor. Like you really do. If you don't, like it don't matter how hard or how good you are, how talented you are. If you're a All-American, like it don't matter because that stuff don't translate here. And trust me, our fans don't like it, and you'll hear about it. So we gotta keep the fans happy, and that's what they like. So those are the three things: motor, feel, passion. Passion, motor, feel, in that order. Passion first, motor, feel. That's it. And if you got all those things, like, we're probably gonna talk to you.
So for the viewers out there who are looking for an offer
Mhm.
to have the opportunity to play in the Big Ten,
Mhm.
Indiana's coach is literally telling you the secret ingredients
Yeah.
to getting a look from them.
Yeah. Now you got to be good. Like
Right,
you
right.
also got to
Gotta
be
have
good.
skill set to come with it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't be like throwing it off the backboard for layups and like leading to runouts on the other end and throwing that stuff off your foot when you're dribbling. Like, but you still got passion, feel, and motor. So don't take what I say and run with it. Like you got to be good.
For sure. You
Yeah,
gotta have those
some
three
type of skill
components
set.
and
Yeah.
you gotta have the skill set to match.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Be versatile. If you
Right.
can learn to be versatile, you can find a place somewhere.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, my next question for you. Let's talk about NIL and transfer portal real quick, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
how has NIL and the transfer portal changed the recruiting landscape in women's basketball?
So we can start with the transfer portal. And let's start with the 5-for-5 because that's like a lot of people don't understand it. So it does make the class of 27 probably the worst, like it's worse for them than any other class and the rest of the classes to come. A lot of offers are being pulled right now. They're finding out certain kids are able to come back. We got 2 of our 4 seniors able to come back now. In the portal, we didn't even know that was going to even be a chance of happening. And now we're like super hyped about it. We're like, hey, let's go. We just, went and got a older kid who's going to be given another year. That's great. And so that hurts the 27 class. Again, like if you want a player, you're gonna have a place for them. Like the kids we're recruiting, like they know that we're still recruiting them even after the 5-for-5 pass, like we told them. So that part hurts. The portal hurts. Now with 5-for-5, now think about it like this. Now you got, let's say, 1,000 players in the portal before this year. All right, seniors, sophomores, juniors, freshmen, and then now for the 5-for-5. Now let's just add 400 more kids to the pot. So now it's 1,400 kids coming up this portal season that's going to be in the portal. So it just added another, like just flooded it with a whole nother little area of like water. And now it's a little bigger pool, bigger, you know what I'm saying? So bigger fish, older fish, So it's like, it's going to be tougher, not just on 27s, but, for every class it will be. But the 27s is going to feel it because they're not very sure on what's happening right now. They have no idea. Is this kid coming back? Is this kid coming back? Nobody really has done contracts. Maybe they've talked about it, but who knows? Like maybe some schools have. So it's like, that part's gonna happen though. Like those contracts are, all that stuff's gonna happen for the ones that want to return. And so yeah, that part's gonna hurt. The money piece, I just think it's very it's just hard because kids don't really know their value. Nobody knows your value. Your value is literally what a school offers you. So it's hard to walk around saying, yeah, this kid gonna need $50,000 or this kid gonna need $300,000. If you got $300,000 lined up on the table by 5 other schools and it's a certain thing, then yeah, your value probably is that. Now, are we willing to pay that? Maybe not. So it just depends on what schools are willing to do. How bad do they need you? Money can scare off people really quickly, so it can hurt you. So you better come right, come correct. Make sure it's like a real number. Best thing to do is like Don't even talk about numbers if you're a recruit. Let the schools just tell you what they're gonna offer you, and don't go there based on that. Like the money you can make in the coming up in the future, if you go to the right place, like you're probably going to end up making more at a place that really values you and gives you what you need, like as far as studies and basketball and all the things, support. You're going to probably make more money going into a place like that in the long run. So money is like, it's all over the place, man, with numbers, and nobody knows their true value. Portal kids, you can get a better because you've had production at the college level. Like
Right.
we paying for production over potential, you know?
Right.
And
Right.
that's like, and that should be the formula. It really should be. So that's how we do it, you know. So if you produce at high school level, like, yeah, like, you know, that does mean something, but like these portal kids, like those are the ones that have shown it already. So but at the end of the day, Indiana's gonna recruit high school kids first, and then whatever we don't get, we're gonna try to get in the portal. That's just how the timeline adds up, you know. So I want high school kids to know Indiana's there to recruit them and not just entertaining them.
Nice. I think it's a little sad, but it's the business whenever a kid thinks they're getting an offer, and it's like, we gotta put it off for back because we're getting someone that just said they were going to leave that's coming back. So
that's what I'm saying. You're invested in your team, man. Like
right.
the ones that are here, you know. So like, yeah, like those are the ones that already they committed to you already. They know they want to be here. They've shown they want to be here. So it's like we're gonna take care of the kids that want to be here. The same with recruits. Like you show you want to be here, you come on a visit, like and it's out your way. Like we know you did that. Like we know you took time out. You know, that makes us want you even more because like you're showing the same love or you're reciprocating it. You know what I mean? Like that's a real thing. Like it's a relationship, you know, like if you show if it's mutual and man, it makes you want the player even more.
Absolutely. And one thing I will say too, I think when it comes to high school, man, I'm not gonna lie, like just knowing your worth, you won't know it unfortunately unless a college is offering. That's why I think some of these kids are gonna that's gonna be going to school next year in college are gonna get paid. I think the Kalina Smiths of the world, and after you go from her, like the Tatiana Griffins of the world, I think they know. I mean, these girls are good. So I think they already know where they kind of sit at when it comes to it. But I'm more so concerned about the ones who don't. That
Agreed.
Are ranked none of them that's not as talked about as them.
Right.
Are good, but you know,
that's why I say don't compare yourself to those kids, you know, like there's a few of the ones. It's like if you're not one of the ones, it's like don't worry about that. Like take your own path, like just make sure you're happy. Like people just chase all this like, you know, credibility and all they just want to be, you know, the clout, like all the things, like just chase your happiness, man. And you're gonna be happy no matter you making $1 or 100,000. You're gonna figure out how to be happy if you choose the right people, you know, the right place. I think that's the biggest thing. But all the people that mislead and most kids got like multiple people in their ears, and that's the problem. Like keep your circle tight. Don't let people in. Don't let randoms in. People want to be associated with success as soon as you start having it. And it's like those ones that just enter in like that, like those are the ones you need to be aware of. Stay away from.
Absolutely. So I want to now go into some broader topics, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, what advice would you give to aspiring young coaches such as myself, especially those interested in recruiting roles, such as myself?
Well, just do what you're doing. You know, like you're learning, like you're tapping in with recruiters, like you know, coaches. Like even if it ain't a recruiting coordinator, like I guarantee you, they know how to recruit. It's part of the job. You know what I'm saying? No matter what your role is. So like that's number one. Find a village, find a group. You know, like before I got in, I found. Luckily, they found me because I was training something they wanted. So like I created a lot of those relationships based on like they were wanting something from me, which was the kid. Like so like, but as I got in, I was like, well, let me like I've already built these relationships. Let me just like continue watering them, and so I found a group of people that I invested in that I was like really trying to learn from. I was a mentee for, and so I just had that when I was growing up, growing up in the game, right? And so when I got to Bama, I had one coach there that really took me under his wing. Elite. I loved working for him as he wasn't the head coach, but he was a recruiting coordinator, and that's who I was working under. And so my role there was like director of recruiting. So while I was like still on the phone with players, I was really learning how he moved and how I needed to move, like as far as like understanding who to look out for, who to talk to, all those things. And so I just learned the feel for the game from him, from the recruiting side. And then I got to being by myself, and I was like, well, let me like, mentor people, certain people that want to do it. And, just talking about it, I start thinking of different things I can do differently, and so at the end of the day, you can't learn enough about recruiting because it's like it's ever changing and there's so many creative ideas out there. And a lot of ideas haven't been done. They say like every move has been taught in basketball. At some point, someone's done it. In recruiting, there's a lot of things and nobody's done, and so like that's where I'm like, let me get like stupid creative where I'm like, people will look at me sideways on what I'm doing, but like what I'm doing is different, which is how I got here to Indiana because I was unique and different. And so let me be different in that process, let me do something different. And so, that's my thing is create a village, create a little group of people that you can always talk to, and just learn from. And two, go to a place where you can be out on the trail. Don't like go to a place to take a spot where you're not on the road. Like go find a place that's going to allow you to go recruit, because that's where you meet all the people that you want to get ideas off of, how to design certain things, how to attack this type of kid. You learn so many things about the recruiting process. Um, Third, I love Dan Tudor stuff. Dan Tudor's like he's really good with recruiting. Is like he's at the Final Four every year. I've picked his brain a lot on a lot of different things. He knows like the psychology to it, and how kids operate, what they think about, what they value. That if a kid's on campus, 80% of them wants to come there, 20% they still trying to figure it out. And it's like, how do you attack that 20%? With each kid is different, and so like learning what to look for in that. Asking kids, I always ask kids, I ask recruits, I ask kids that are here now that I recruited last year. I'm like, how much do you like it when a coach talks? Like, how much do you want to hear from a coach? If I show up to your game in high school, does it matter as much in AAU that it does in high school? Is it better for me to come to a practice or a game? Do you want me to come with one other coach, or do you like it whenever recruiting coordinator is by himself? How much do you want to see the head coach there? How much did you like talking on the phone with the head coach versus talking to us? Like I ask the kids, even on the court working out, I watch like Lene Beaumont. She's been here for 2-3 years, and now she's learned from a lot of players that's come through here that's had success. I watch her as she sets a ball, like waits for a ball screen. She don't just stand there waiting on the ball screen. She uses her pivot at the point of the time that the player crosses the screener crosses the elbow. She starts to move this way, puts the guard that's guarding her a little bit closer to the sideline. By the time she comes back, that screen's set, she's hit, that defender's hit, she's downhill with an advantage. Like, I'm like, oh, shoot, that's, so I'm like learning from the kids, and that's where a lot of us don't like we don't take advantage of that. Like, learn from the players, learn from the ones that's been through the process with 40 other schools. Like, learn what worked, what didn't. I don't think we use that enough, and so like that's my other piece of advice is like, if somebody's been through the process as a player, like even though they're younger than you and you a coach and they're a player, man, I don't look at none of that. I'm like, I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to be like really good at everything I do, especially recruiting. So those are all my pieces of advice. Probably got more, but those right off the head.
I love that response, my man. So my next question for you is, how do you balance player development, X's and O's, right, and the mental side of the game?
Mm. That's a great question. So player development is how I got into this. That stuff comes natural. You know, like I used to have to write workouts out. Now I just write down bullet points on what I want to work on, and I just create a creative way of doing it on the floor. You know, and so I'm a big like I love layering drills. I love like combining. You know, coming off a ball screen, getting downhill versus a plug that's a drop coverage, and then right after that, sprint out to the corner. It's a long closeout. You got a shot fake, attack, stay on a straight line, get to the rim, and then right after that, sprint out, set it up, and then boom, back cut, boom. Now you're finishing against contact. You know, like I like layering stuff so that way we're not on the floor for an hour. Like we on the floor for 25, 30 minutes, and then you're on to doing whatever's next, but it's quality over quantity. So like the player development comes natural. The X's and O's, I'm more of a defensive minded person. It makes more sense to me quicker. And so like I really it's very hard to be elite at everything. So I
Yeah.
think you're gonna create a lot of disappointment in yourself if you try to do that. So I've really like chosen the defensive side of the ball to go and try to be like what I am in recruiting, and so I don't ever take away from my time in recruiting, but like I have invested more time into learning defensive principles and like understanding coverages and what we should do and how your body should face, which way you should angle your body when you're off the ball, like all the things like those details, those finer details, like that I have in recruiting, like I try to do in on the defensive side of the ball. I just want a good understanding on the offensive end, and I believe as I get older, I'll kind of get into the offensive side of it, but defensive is where I find my comfortability that I can learn and get quicker, like better quicker. Um, and so the mental side of it though is like I'm very big on like observation and like analyzing, and I do that more than I talk. So I'm like watching more than I'm saying. So I like to watch the body language, watch like feet, watch hips, watch air, like all the things like I want to I can create correct based on that side of it. And so and a lot of that's just like I mean, talking to the players outside of practice, like, look, man, this is how you look. Like, you look like you a deer in the headlights when you mess up. Like, you don't need to look like that. You need to look like you don't care, but not in a bad way. But like, don't let it affect what's next, because it always affects the next thing for you, and you're too young to be doing. So it's like examples like that. Like, it's literally a conversation I had the other day with a freshman. Like, so you don't know when you're doing something wrong. Nobody know. You don't really know whenever you're twisting on your jump shot. Somebody got to tell you like, hey, it's going left and right. You're missing left to right, not long to short, because you're twisting. It's like, oh, got it. Let me tighten my core up and don't over rotate my last step, and now I'm good. My feet too close. That's why I'm turning. I need to get wider on my. So it's like like those types of things. That's the mental side that I look for, because I know at the end of the day, I'm not here to be an elite offensive coordinator or an elite defensive coordinator. Right now, my role is to be a recruiting coordinator, bring in those kids that's going to make the defensive coordinator, the offensive coordinator, the head coach's life so easy, because they can translate it quick. Like, and then whenever y'all look and y'all like, they just picked it up. Let's move to the next thing. I'm sitting there like, perfect. This is exactly what I knew was going to happen with this kid. Like, I knew it. And I'm just so happy she's here. She's here. So y'all's life's made easy. I'm here. Like, I still do scouts. Like, I do all of that stuff. But it's like, I'm here for a specific reason, and my reason is to develop and recruit and just to be an extra voice out on the floor saying what y'all need me to say, but I'm also like, I'm learning while y'all are teaching. You know what I'm saying? And so like, I just want to be at the end of the day, I want to be a head coach. I want to be a lead at all areas. I know that's not going to happen as far as elite in all areas, but I'm going to do everything I can to one, not disappoint myself and not burn me out, but two, like I'm going to make sure like I'm doing all I can while having that balance of like learning it all, and so again, early in the stage of my coaching career, it's just about figuring out that balance, but at the end of the day, you need to do great at what you're here for.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
very well said. And It's come to the last segment and question, right?
All right, let's see it.
So we're gonna get to the fun closing, right?
Uh-huh.
So my last question for you is, if you could give one piece of advice to young players chasing their basketball dreams,
Mhm.
what would that be?
I want to say comparison, like don't do it, but I've said it like you can tell that's just a big thing for me. The comparison thing. I'm gonna try to like answer it with a different answer though. Players that I want to give you a good one. I say really like there's a lot of things I can say. I would say choose your village wisely and like make sure you got the right people in it. Cause it don't sometimes like what you're doing isn't seen because the right people ain't telling you or telling other people about you, not telling the right people about you, but it's gotta come from a voice of credibility. Like you have to have somebody credible in your village, in your circle. So it's like you need to go and seek that out. You know what I mean? It's the same way with me and my job. Like I need to have mentors. I need to have like someone that's been elite at something. You know what I mean? So like someone that knows people, somebody that, you know, so like as a player, that's what I would say is like, man, figure out your circle first. Those people can help you. What you're trying to do, where you're trying to get, you know, you're trying, let's just say you're trying to be on a ranking list. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, a lot of kids value different. I know that's something big all kids talk about. So if you try to be on a ranking list, like, get somebody that knows what all those kids got so that way they can help you figure out how to, like, advance past them. Or they know people that can help that by coming to see you, you know? So, like, that would be my biggest thing is, like, the village. It takes a village for anyone. You can't do this alone. I had multiple people like put in a good word for me, right? So like in every job I got, somebody that I was not with during the time reached out and said yes. Like this guy can do it. This guy can do what you want. So it's like, what's the people saying about you that you don't know? You don't know that they're saying it, but also they know you enough and they trust you enough to like give your name to someone, you know? And so like that's what I think is very important. You can work hard all day if you don't know the right people. Like I think you're shooting yourself in the foot. I don't think you're doing enough for yourself. So invest in your village and in your circle. And I think that can help take you further than you probably would go if you didn't have that type of circle. So
nice. Well,
yeah.
if I could, I would talk to you all day. But that is it, guys.
Yeah.
Coach Thompson, want to thank you so much once again for coming on the Clutch City Connect podcast. It was a blessing to have you on. We got to discuss a lot of topics. You got to inform the viewers of what they need to do to get looked at. And also for myself and for other aspiring coaches, what is the day in for you, day in and day out for you, and also what it takes to get there. So I definitely appreciate you coming and dropping some gems on the podcast. Before we get out of here, my man, let the people know where they can find you on social media.
Yeah, very simple. You just gotta know how to spell my name. Colsten Thompson, at Colsten Thompson. It's right. I don't know if they're gonna see it, but right in here, right under my face right here. At Colsten Thompson. Twitter, Instagram. Yeah, don't follow me on Facebook. That's for family stuff. But yeah, those two social media outlets, that's where you find me.
Nice. Well, guys, that's it. It's your guy TJay Anderson and my main man, Coach Colsten Thompson. And we are logging out.
Yep. Go Hoosiers! Hoosiers!
Clutch City Connect, Clutch City Connect, Clutch City Connect. Houston rockin' news, everything you need. You know we keep it in check. Scores, interviews, and player stats, yo, we keep it in check. Subscribe to see what's next. It's Clutch City Connect.